Hi, and welcome to another episode of my podcast. I know it's been a while, but I'm finally here and I have things to show you. Where to start? I've recently posted on my Instagram that I'm going to therapy, and it's been a difficult year. I'm sure for many of us it's been very difficult, and no matter if you're going through the war experience or just any other stressful stretch of your life, I think it's very important to recognize moments when you need to ask for help. And I think I've been through many things, including the career change, which has been very stressful, and I know that I can go much lower than I'm now. So this time I'm not allowing myself to get depressed or really dive deep. So I'm trying to find help before it gets worse. Tomorrow is the day when exactly a year ago the war in Ukraine started. It's been a very difficult year for many reasons, and I'm not even comparing my experience with the experience of those who are now in Ukraine, but my feelings are also valid, and everything I feel does impact my life, including work and the knitting that I show you. It is a big part of my life, and I just wanted you to know that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to ask for help. And I'm just very grateful that I'm in the position to be able to go to the doctor and get the help I need. I hope I will, but the first step is already done. I also got a very nice gift from my colleagues at the Harlem for Ukraine, the NGO I'm working for. I told them that I was struggling, and they gave me a really nice card. It's not a game, it's like I don't know how I call it, but it's like a deck of cards with very gentle, holistic messages. There are different ways to use it, but essentially you just pick a card and it has a nice message for you to reflect on. So I've been trying to use it in the last few weeks when I'm feeling stressed or something worries me. I'm just like drawing a card, and then you get a book like this with all the explanation, with the messages. So yeah, it's really nice. I'm sure there are many of them available. This one is called Inner Compass. I think it's a really nice little way to take a breath and think about situations with different angles. And yeah, so this has been helping me to switch a little bit and be more gentle with myself. I think they are very gentle, very holistic in a way. So speaking about that, I also started embroidering more. I finished my the white blouse with the sleeves that my grandma embroidered, and when I was in Ukraine, I bought more fabric, and I already have an idea what I want to do with it. And this time it will be a linen blouse, and I saw this beautiful sleeve pattern. I found it on Pinterest with flowers, but I think it was done with a cross stitch, but I'm thinking to use a different technique. So at the moment I'm just trying different threads and different techniques, but I don't know, I think I really like it. So the fabric is this really light peachy beige linen, and this is what I'm trying to embroider. There you go. So these are all different. It's either cotton or there is a strand of silk here. It's really looking very, yeah, it creates a lot of texture, and yeah, I want it to be very in this kind of peachy palette with a bit of accents of color, but otherwise very neutral and like very rich with like big puffy sleeves and very gentle this floral pattern. So I think this will keep me occupied for quite a few weekends. I'm sure this will take me about a year or so, but I'm also learning more about a different way of sewing it together. So this time I will be embroidering the whole thing on a huge piece of fabric, making separate parts for sleeves and everything, and then I will wash it, and then I will cut it out and start with the sewing. So I guess that is like the best way of going that I've learned on the thank you internet. I purchased a masterclass from a Ukrainian I don't know, artist. She's embroidering blouses for sale, but she also has her own YouTube channel where she sells like little courses on how to do stuff, how to sew, how to cut out the pieces, how to join them together. So it's been really nice to see different ways how to do that, and yeah, I think that will be very easy to just follow someone instead of figuring out everything on my own. So I'm really looking forward to working on this one. I'm not yet sure about which thread to use, either to use a twisted one or just like DMC normal, very nice silky, well, it's also twisted a little bit but not so much. I can show you, you'll probably see the difference. So you see this one is twisted and it creates like extra texture, and then these are really flat. I mean, they are puffy because there are many threads in them, but they don't have the twist in the thread itself. So I'm still trying different things. I think I will need to embroider a little bit more to see how that looks and how it behaves in the sun and on a bigger scale. But yeah, it's exciting, and it's a little bit it's like a hobby, you know. So for many of you, knitting is a hobby, and I believe that's the feeling you get when you start a new project and you're so excited and you know what to do because you know you have a pattern. Because designing knitwear for me now is a job, and that comes with a lot of stress and expectations and extra pressure that I put on myself. So embroidery will now be my happy place, and knitting will be a job. So that's also okay. Speaking about embroidery, I had another project that I've been waiting to do for a long time. This is my like a fancy dress that I wear to, I don't know, invited dinners or weddings and stuff like that. I wore it like a few times just. And the problem with it is it's a wrap and it's a V-neck. It is kind of hemmed here, and the inner part of the fabric was coming out like to the front, and that was not really nice because, well, if you have a nice V-neck, you don't want fabric from the inside sticking out. And I wasn't sure what to do with it because there are options like to glue, to put a like special fabric and then just iron it and glue it together so that the fabric doesn't split and doesn't come out on the front. But I wasn't sure because it's viscose. It's very light, so if something doesn't go right, it will be all wrinkly and strange. So instead I did like this to hold the fabrics together, just like simple stitching, and I'm doing embroidery instead. So I will be like here I embroidered through both fabrics, and this is going to keep this thingy in place, I hope. So it's not gonna be that fancy as it was, because I think it looked really nice on its own, just as a simple dress. Let me see if I can fit this on a sweater. But I think it is going to make it more wearable, and well, even if it's not super dressy anymore, I will just wear it as a regular dress, everyday dress. So yeah, that's another thing that I've been working on in the meantime when I don't feel like knitting. And I'm just also a very beginner at the embroidery, this kind of freestyle embroidery. So I'm just trying different things. This is a wool thread. Yeah, I will iron this nicely, and it's gonna look better than it looks now, but I think this is a very good solution for this kind of things. Because yeah, I couldn't wear it like that, and I really hate waste. So I could have sold it on Vinted for like a second hand to give it to someone a second life, but I think I will still be wearing it for quite some time. Okay, now let's move to knitting. I think the last thing that I showed on my Patreon that I've been working on was a floral pullover, a color work, beautiful yoke. I will show you a picture there, somewhere here, but it didn't work out. And that's because I was super stressed and have been doubting my choices all the time. I basically finished the yoke, and I finished the body, and I even did the ribbing, and then it didn't feel right. I don't know. And it started not so much with the body and the pattern itself, but I think the problem was with the neck, because I wanted to do this really nice, like lowered on the front with the ribbing. You will see it on the pictures. But then when I finished the body and I tried it on, I was feeling a bit of this, I hate this thing when the sweater goes into your neck and it's like you're choking. So long story short, what I have now is only this. I basically cut off the short rows on the front. I left the same on the back. It's really beautiful, I love it. But the front, I just left it simple without any additional short rows, and I will just do the patterning as I planned. Maybe with a little tricks, because I think it needs some I don't know, lace or cabling in between the flowers. I don't know how to call this, the strings of flowers. So this will be also redone in the next sometime. So yeah, it's a little bit of disappointment because I already had a really exciting collaboration based on this design with a fellow artist from I'm not gonna tell you, but yeah, she does embroidery, and we have this really nice idea of making something together. So as soon as I'm done with this, then we can actually show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, what I can show you is another beautiful collaboration, and that is with a Danish company called G-uld. One of the owners, I think there are two owners, but I'm not sure, at least the co-authors on this book, there are two of them, so I'm thinking there are two owners of the company, but I might be wrong. So in any case, Louise, the yarn dyer from G-uld, she approached me asking if I would be interested in designing something in their yarns, and I've been admiring them for a really long time, and it's been such a difficult choice to actually pick the colors, because I spend a lot of time on their Instagram when they have like this rainbows of different colors and skeins. It's like it's a dream, but it's so difficult to choose, especially from the screen. And yeah, I'm really happy with the colors they sent me, and I was looking for a perfect yarn to make a lighter version of my Purpurea, and I will show you in just a second. But before I do that, I want to also show you their book, and the book is about natural dyeing. And about a year or two ago, I was really into trying natural dyeing, and not so much for the yarn, but at least for the fabrics. I've been collecting avocado skins and pits and everything, and I even made it once. The whole process of doing it at home in an apartment without open kitchen, or like somewhere outside that you can breathe, actually, because there are lots of smells and aromatic chemicals released while you're actually boiling the skins and the pits. So it was a little bit, I don't know, kind of dangerous. I wasn't feeling 100% safe with doing it at home, at least in my setup. So I sort of gave up on it. I dyed a dress, and it looked really nice. I love natural fiber, natural dyes. It's so well, you know what I mean, right? They are very subtle. The colors are very warm, and yeah. So I'm really enjoying the book, because it tells you a lot about the different fibers and how to do the dyes, and different tweaks and tips how to do things. So yeah, I would highly recommend the book if you want to try some of the natural dyes that you could just procure at home or in your garden or just somewhere when you go on a walk. It's a wonderful new universe that I'm not familiar with, and I can't really tell you a lot of things about that, but for that there are people who know about it, and I'm really inspired by their work. So long story short, let me show you my original Purpurea, and it was what was it? It was made in Nutiden oxalis a long time ago. It was a beautiful color that I don't think they replicated yet. These are two strands of Nutiden held together. It has these cables that run down from the top of the neck, from the neck down to the hem, and then there is some beautiful slits on the sides here. Yeah, let me show you. There you go. So here are the slits, and yeah, the pattern could be continued to the sleeves as well, but I stopped here at where the yoke finished, at the underarms level. And yeah, I felt like for this kind of yarn weight, it was too much to do the sleeves with the cables, but there are two options in the pattern, so you can continue just as you go from here, from the upper arm till your calves. I know there is a very similar design coming up from a very famous knitwear designer, and I think you just have to look closely and see which one you like better. And I've been thinking about the lighter version of this because this one is super warm. I don't get to wear it that often, and it's also quite bulky because of the nutiden. It's quite, it feels like you're a mama bear, and it's nice and cozy, but at the same time it's not as versatile as I would like it to be. So I've been thinking about the lighter version, and I think the yarn, the number 4, sorry, that's number 4. It's really thin. It's like a light fingering or even lace weight. What do they say? Yeah, light fingering. There is 650 meters in 100 grams. So this one skein makes like half a sweater for me. And I paired it with silk mohair. I found a really nice shade from Knitting for Olive that gives the original color, which is, let me see, what is the, it's walnut. And it gives the original color a little bit of warmth, just a little bit of warmth that it was lacking for me personally. So this is how the fabric looks like. And I'm knitting it, of course, without the turtleneck. It will be beautiful, just a crew neck here. It's quite close to the neck, but not too close. And the sleeves will be fully cabled, so the cables will go. I think I'm gonna make a wider sleeve a little bit, like a bell sleeve, and I will just finish the sleeves as I finish the reeving, the hem here. There we go. And of course there will be side slits like on a chunky version, but I also made these big cables on the sides. They go on the underarm from the stitches that you pick up for the underarm. So there's a little bit, it's a little bit different than the original version. There's some elements that are not there, and I'm really excited about this one because it was a project that I really needed, because in a way I had everything figured out in the original pattern, so I didn't have to like think too much. I just had to do the math again, considering the gauge difference, and as I go I had to figure out stuff like underarms and the sleeves and everything. So it was a really easy, it still is. I have 2 sleeves to go. Yeah, I have to make sure there is fun on the sleeves so you don't feel bored by the time you finish. Yeah, so this is something that I'm working on right now, and I think as soon as I have the sleeve ready I will call for testers and we will have everything running again, because the pressure is real. The thing is, I feel like if I don't create a pattern, I'm losing my income for some portion of time, so this also creates an additional pressure to do something, and that's not always good, and that's not also good for creativity if you want to really like embrace your time and your space and the inspirations from your life and what you see and what you experience. So yeah, I think I will need to make some compromises in my life in the next few weeks to see how that goes with my mental health and with the work. And unfortunately I already know from the first session with my psychologist that I will probably need to give up volunteering, because I have to tell you that the best volunteers are the foreigners usually, because they are not emotionally invested and they can actually be there and have something to give to people who need it. Whereas as a Ukrainian, I have other things to worry about as well, and I feel it deeply. Like it's more difficult for a person who has an emotional connection to the situation. So that you can also see in Harlem for Ukraine, for instance. In the next meetings, there are fewer and fewer Ukrainians who are coming because people burn out, and 1 year is a long time. Usually you volunteer on projects like this for, I don't know, for 6 months or a shorter time in order to keep sane. And yeah, but someone still has to do it. There's still a lot of things that could be done, and we just can't sit quiet and accept the situation. So I feel really bad about it, and I feel like guilty and responsible for what I was supposed to do, but at the same time I have to take care of myself, so there will be some difficult decisions have to be made. Yeah, so I think that's roughly it. I hope you enjoyed some of the things that I showed you. I hope you enjoyed this little moment with me, and I hope you're taking care of yourself and enjoying your hobby as much as you can. Knitting is a wonderful way to relax, unwind, take your mind off things that are that you can't control in your life, that are frustrating you. So I hope knitting brings you that peace of mind, and that's also part of my work, and I hope I'm influencing your life in that way. So take care, and I will work hard on making the best knitting patterns that are not stressful but a pleasure to follow. Bye, and see you in the next episode.